Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Back at the lake. Internet connection wasn't great this morning for the group call. I'm debating whether or not I got to be home tomorrow for the 3 o'clock call and Wednesday for the 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock call. We got through it, but it broke and I got disconnected a couple times, but fortunately it was short-lived. So I guess maybe we'll see. Anyway, today's topic is going to be figuring things out is resistance. So I'll get to that in a minute. I'll let you listen to the birds. I'm going to enjoy this gorgeous view. It's a cooler day. I think we're going to have some weather around 80 degrees on the weekend. But until then, we got a few days more with, 40s in the morning. And, low 70s in the afternoon, which is still gorgeous. Let your body relax and take a couple of breaths. So, figuring things out is resistance. What I mean is, any amount of time you're spending trying to figure out your symptoms, how they started, why they're still persisting, how come they increased, how come they decreased, how can I make them go down, how can I change them, affect them, how can I think about them less, how do I stop thinking about them or noticing them at all, figure out. Every bit of that is resistance to the fact that the symptoms are there in the first place. Now don't get me wrong, I get it. I understand that these symptoms can be fairly concerning. All-consuming concerning. But at the end of the day, when we go back to the foundation for, one, we know what's causing them. The brain perceiving danger, and that's it. Right? We may be perceiving danger due to some misinformation we read online, some other people have told us, and even some doctors have told us. We might be perceiving danger because we've seen our own imaging studies. We've seen the MRI. Of course there's a problem. I got X, Y, and Z degeneration in this disc, or this knee, or this shoulder, or a meniscus tear, rotator cuff tear. I've got this going on here. I've got this going on in my gut. We've got all this evidence of damage, right? Or sickness. But symptoms are not evidence of the condition of the body. Symptoms are evidence that the brain is perceiving danger. That's it. And so many times we run around chasing the symptoms. Chasing the symptom. But at the end of the day, the symptoms are the result of the problem. And in the case of mind-body, TMS, perceived danger, pain, or symptoms, the result are the symptoms, but the cause is a brain perceiving danger. Now that's no knock on anybody here. That doesn't mean you're scared or you're a big baby. No, it means that your brain is doing its job to keep you safe and keep you alive. And anytime it perceives danger, it's going to turn on symptoms. That's what it's supposed to do. So first point, don't try to ignore the symptoms. It's impossible. You will notice them. And that doesn't mean you're failing. We are supposed to notice our symptoms. Why? Because symptoms are designed to get our attention. So you will notice them. But the key is, how do you respond when you do notice them? Do you respond with clarity, certainty, confidence that perceived danger, not actual danger, perceived danger is the only thing that's going on? Is that how you respond? Or do you respond with doubling down and trying to figure this out? My symptoms were doing reasonably okay, and then all of a sudden today they started to go up. I better figure out why. I better figure out how that happened so I can never do that again. And we start figuring out what were our triggers. Well, I had this conversation with that person. I had a thought about going back to work. I had this and that. So I can never do that again, right? No. That's not how we resolve TMS, by identifying triggers for increasing symptoms and avoiding every one of them. That's a recipe for ending up bedridden and having no life. That's not how we resolve TMS, because if you avoid everything and you're safe, okay, great. How are you going to get back to living? Because even then, let's say you were safe and reasonably comfortable for years. What happens when you go back to life? Your brain's going to go, whoa, what are you doing now? We've been avoiding all that stuff. So avoidance equals I'm in danger, so I'm going to avoid those things. So avoidance isn't the solution. So what do we do? When the symptoms show up, we respond calmly. We reassure ourselves. We go back to the foundation for what causes it, perceived danger. Does it apply to me? If you still don't know that, you got to get certain. It's foundational. If you don't have that, you're standing on shaky ground. Does it apply to me? Go to painfreeyou.com/start. There's a pain test, score of 0 to 50. Anything 30 or above is TMS with certainty. That means your brain's creating the symptoms. That means your symptoms are acting and behaving as if they're created by the brain, not some structural problem or illness. Get certain. Below that, there's a FIT assessment, functional, intermittent, triggered. If even one of those items is true for you, then it's TMS, it's perceived danger that's creating it, not a physical body problem. Get certain. So number one, what causes symptoms? The brain perceiving danger. Number two, does this apply to me? Absolutely, yes. Right? Do the assessments. It's critical. And here's the point. If the assessments point you towards TMS, believe it. These assessments were created by medical doctors, by the characteristics that Dr. Sarno, Dr. Schubner, and Schechter, Strax, all these medical doctors in the TMS space. They were created by these people who understand exactly how this thing that others refer to as neuroplastic pain behaves. If the indicators are TMS or neuroplastic pain or perceived danger pain, that's what it is. Start looking for evidence that that's true. Are your symptoms, do they come and go? Are they worse in the morning, worse at night, whatever it may be? Are they not consistent in any way, shape, or form? Do the assessments. You'll see what the questions are. But get certain. Then know there's a cure. And most importantly, know that you're capable of implementing this cure. All we're doing is teaching ourselves that we're actually safe, that we're not in danger. Now, if you've learned anything in life, if you've gotten through middle school, you've learned basic algebra, which is a heck of a lot more complicated than perceived danger creates symptoms, safety eliminates symptoms. Algebra is more complicated than that. Learning a foreign language is more complicated than that. Heck, learning our primary language is more complicated than that. Learning an instrument, learning a sport is more complicated. There's more moving parts. There's more to learn and remember. Basically, perceived danger is creating symptoms. Your sole job is to recover from the fear by teaching the brain safety with accurate knowledge, calm reassurance, and even get to the point of indifference. Indifference is like, okay, so I have symptoms, so what? I know it causes them and I know it applies to me. I know there's a cure and I know I can get out of it. Boom, that's it. So let's get back to this topic of resistance. When you are resisting something, when you are fighting against the symptoms and trying to figure out how to get rid of them, what is your brain perceiving? That you're safe or that, oh no, we're in danger? Hint, it's the latter. When you are resisting something, your brain can only see, the only choice the brain has is to perceive we're in danger. So any form of trying to figure out what's going on is resistance. There's nothing to really figure out. This one video right now just gave you the keys to the kingdom. If symptoms go up, symptoms go down, the only thing you need to know is that symptoms went up, there must be more danger. Symptoms went down, must have been feeling more safe. What's to figure out? Try not to overcomplicate this. But Dan, when I did this, my pain got worse. Yeah, your brain still thinks that activity is dangerous. Calmly reassure yourself that it's not, that it's only perceiving danger. It's not the activity, it's not the food, it's not the smell, it's not any of those things. It's the fear of those things. Perception of danger. So, I'm going to let you take a look at the lake. Take a peek around. It's gorgeous. It's so nice and quiet. In years past, there would be construction happening across the lake, building a boathouse. Thankfully, this year, that's not the case. So I get to enjoy some peace and quiet. So I hope everybody's doing well. I love you all. And figuring out is resistance. So stop trying to figure it out. I just gave you all the answers. We don't need to figure anything out. All we got to do is symptoms. Let's jump to safety. How can I teach my brain that I'm actually all right? And that doesn't mean just walking around saying, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe, terrified. It means thinking, acting, and behaving as if you're already okay. And if symptoms are there, even if symptoms are very colorful, do your best to freak out less, calmly reassure more, to the point that eventually you're going to say, okay, symptoms are here. So what? I'm good. So, I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.